is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Completed in off the timeout to Furphy. Tight ropes the baseline, kicks back to Harris for 5 to shoot. Harris splits 2 defenders, kicks back. Furphy to beat the buzzer. Got it!
Trying to look at it as a one game. You know, they've got a great crowd, really good team, unbelievable environment, probably as hard as it gets in our league. So we want to focus on that one and shoot quick, because the deeper you get in the shot clock with those guys, the vice grip just tightens.
So Joel now with 68 points. Then B with the ball after a steal. Joel drives it down the lane, left-hand layup, it's up and good.
The first time I saw him practice at his high school, he got into it with some kid. He started chasing him around the gym. And I saw how athletic he was chasing a little 5'10" guy. I told Norm, I said, he's going to be the #1 pick in the draft. And he wasn't. He was third. But yeah, he's a different talent.
You've got Emily in there just battling, and I don't give her a lot of breaks. The fact that she's willing to kind of go in there and battle all night long says a ton about her devotion to her team, of do whatever she has to do to help us out.
They absolutely do. When you think about Lamar, he's going to face that this week. Can you beat Patrick Mahomes and get into the final game? And that's going to be the question.
I was just trying to exit the court as quickly as possible, so I started running, and I was absolutely just hammered by somebody trying to run onto the court and basically blindsided and kind of scary.
Someone's going to get hurt, and it could be a student, could be one of Nebraska's guys, could be one of our guys, could be someone working the scores bench, could be anybody. But, I don't know why people don't get ahead of it.
Josh, can you hit that tree?
And we regress. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Steve Webster with you on the Tuesday show today. Mike Corson is in, Aaron Clark, and sitting in for the legendary Mike Hesher today. Running the show behind the scenes, Mr. Landon Winkler. Yes, we're all here today. On the show, Cougar voice of the Cougars, Cole Reif will be in. Talk about Barton basketball. Men are up to number 3 in the country right now. Lady Cougars still receiving votes, but we're on the downward slide of the conference season. Mike Corson today going on the with
Panther wrestling coach Gannon Reichert.
Okay, all the Tuesday sports headlines and the sounds the past 24 hours or so. I don't want to wait for this to get to the end of sounds the past 24 hours, because that's one good thing about having these young guys on here. You know, Landon's young, Aaron's young. You're kind of in the middle of the pack, but these
pretty
are
young.
the ones with what is this?
Josh, can you hit that tree?
Okay,
My
I guess
favorite new YouTube commercial. It was on Paramount. If you're watching the game, they have the Paramount ads. And so,
that was on TV?
Yeah, Paramount owns probably CBS, all the stations.
So which one of that was
that was Josh Allen standing next to Peppa Pig.
Peppa the Pig. I see that every afternoon when I go home. The grandkids are watching Peppa the Pig. Ever notice in Peppa the Pig that well, if you're using Peppa the Pig and you haven't watched an episode, they all live on hills. They've got to drive. Their houses are on hills, except the pig pen. And anyway, so Josh Allen throws his pass.
She says, "Can you hit the tree?" And he just ropes this ball over the mountains.
He doesn't hit the tree. I want to point out he hits a
Beavis,
a Beavis
Beavis of Butthead. Okay,
all
right.
And then they come back and laugh, and I thought it was hilarious, but turns out everybody else did too. 1 million YouTube hits in a day.
It's pretty good. It caught me off guard just because you put Josh Allen out there next to Peppa Pig, and you'll have my attention. Usually, you cut to a commercial, and who cares what's going on then? That's when you go refill your drink, go take the dishes out, whatever. You put Peppa Pig next to Josh Allen, at least pique my interest.
Okay, so that's available. You just Google Peppa the Pig and Josh Allen.
Oh, it's if you type in PEP, it pops up Peppa Pig, Josh Allen.
Okay, so my question for Aaron is, did you immediately know that was Peppa Pig?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you grew up with Peppa Pig.
I didn't grow up. She was I think she was coming in as I was out. But
so
when
you're
I was
watching it now. No, but in your mid-20s, you're sitting and watching Peppa the Pig every day when you go home.
Actually. But sounds like you are, though. You're the one bringing in here talking about the hills.
She was getting her passport. She's British.
She's been around for a little while, though. I feel like at this point.
But if you watch on TV, you notice that they have 4 eyes. Because there's always 2 eyes on the face. That's a regular Peppa the Pig. But if you watch on TV, there's 2 eyes on each side of the head. So you would imagine that, okay, when they turned around the other side,
they're like a flounder almost.
The Peppa the Pig would have 4. Gee, Benny Christmas. All right. This is the Sports Day program here on KVGB. All right. You guys.
I was going to compliment you real quick. We get bored. We meander in early. So you're in panic mode because we disrupt your flow. The listeners would never know that this wasn't Steve on top of his A game today.
You were here early, and it panicked me because you guys were in here like 12 minutes early.
Well, to be fair, I usually come meandering in here. Like, I'll be dipping out periodically. 11:30 rolls around, and I'm ready to get Sports Day going.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, let's get to sounds the past 24 hours or so. The call last night on Hits 106.9, Johnny Furphy. He's been playing well for KU, and, man, they need someone to step up. Had 23 points last night, hit that 3. That put the KU Jayhawks up 67-57 on Cincinnati. But Hunter Dickinson in foul trouble. They held on to win 74-69. So KU's kind of going through a lull here in the middle of the season. They're 4-2 in the Big 12, behind your first place Kansas State Wildcats. K-State already made the trip to Ames, Iowa. They'll play Iowa State tonight at Bramlage. And Jerome Tang says it's not much fun to play against Iowa State. This is a crazy Big 12 race.
And he had the comment the other day, they had 1 or 2 good games, so, they're starting to buy in. Coach speak. And what else are you supposed to say? But, man, I need to see 6-7 games before I believe that you've turned the corner. So hopefully that's where they're getting to. They're staying competitive at the top. Maybe they like it up there.
You got Houston. They've got 2 losses right now, and they're ranked number 4 in the country right now. KU dropped to 7.
It's a tough league night in. Even the teams that are, even with a losing record, West Virginia,
KU's lost to the two scrums of the league. They lost to Central Florida. K-State rolled at home, and they lost to West Virginia, although West Virginia will never shoot 3-pointers like that again. Yeah,
and the K-State women up to number 4.
I'm getting to that. We haven't get this. Is sounds the past 24 hours.
That's because it's a headline of the past 24 hours, not a sound.
And they won at Baylor last night, too. I saw them when they were number 2. So when they get up to number 2, no, it was good. They won last night again without Ioka Lee. She's still out, so that's pretty good to beat Baylor. Although Baylor is not the Baylor Bears that they used to be.
No Kim Mulkey.
Okay, Aaron Clark brought this in this morning. We kind of a ban on NBA cuts, but he always tries to break out of the pen. So he threw this up there. Call last night on WPEN. Joel Embiid makes a 2-point shot in the 4th quarter. That's what makes this impressive. He can shoot the 3, but he's not out there jacking threes like everybody else in the NBA does. He had 70 points last night. Spurs winning 133-123.
Sixers won that game.
What did I say?
You said Spurs.
Oh.
It's a defensive
beat
battle.
the Spurs.
Okay, thank you. The Spurs lost 133-120. 70 points in the game. And Bill Self, I don't know when this, I think it may have been after the game last night, because that game was on ESPN as Big Monday. And they asked him about when did he know that Joel Embiid was going to be really, really good. He said, well, he saw that he's chasing some little 5'8" guy around the gym when they were recruiting him. And this was weird. I started thinking, I can't remember exactly what happened that year because KU had Andrew Wiggins on that team too. And Embiid did not play when they got beat by Stanford. He was out. It's kind of like his career has been. I mean, he's a big man. A lot of things can get broken. A lot of things can get sore. So he didn't play. He kind of battled injuries. KU went 25-10 that year. So it wasn't with, okay, who else did they have on that team? Because I want to look that up. Okay. They had Frank Mason, the third, but he was a young guy. He'd go on to be National Player of the Year.
Was Perry Ellis on that team?
Jabari Parker early in the season. And let's see, featured 3 freshmen would comprise the first 3 picks in the upcoming draft. That's when one-and-doners, Bill Self was loading up on them.
Frank was around was he a 4-year guy?
Oh, yeah, Frank was a 4-year guy. But he was just a freshman that year.
Wow.
So they had the number 1 and number 3 picks in the NBA draft, and they got beat in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
Wasn't there a story when Embiid was a young kid in Africa? He, 8 years old, he fought a lion?
He said that was a lie.
He did say it was a lie?
Legends grow.
Okay.
I mean, Aaron worked here. He was just some unknown offensive lineman. Now people have said, yeah, I think when he was at Emporia State, he killed a lion.
No, they were talking about the time he ended up at the zoo and ran it over with the...
Well, that's why... I mean, we killed the lions. That's why Lindenwood left the MIAA. They had to get out of there. They heard the lion killer was coming around.
Yeah, that was 2013 and 2014 season, 25-10. That was the first time Bill Self had lost double-digit games in a season during his tenure in Lawrence, until it happened again in 2018 and 2019.
And was Embiid... Did he miss a lot of time at KU, or was it his first years in the NBA with the toe, maybe the back?
His feet.
His feet.
Yeah, and that was his back when he at the end of the year. He played only 28 games that year and didn't suit up against Stanford.
And yeah, for the first few years of his NBA career, he wasn't playing a whole lot of games. Took him a few years to get healthy, and now...
But he got banged up a little bit last year, didn't he?
And he's still not the most healthy. The NBA put in a new rule that you have to play at least 65 games to be eligible for those top awards, including MVP. He's already missed 11 of the 41s that he's played, so not really working with a lot of games down the stretch.
Load management, man.
And the part of the knock against Embiid is that sometimes he takes those games off against some of the bigger opponents. I don't know if he's played against the Milwaukee Bucks yet and Giannis Antetokounmpo this year. He's also missed a couple games against the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. He takes games off, but when he's on, like we saw last night, 70 points, not very often you get to hear Wilt Chamberlain record fell. That's kind of some of those are just untouchable, but 70 points. Think just the 9th player.
Okay, we had the.
Oh yeah,
okay.
That's
load management.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Cindy Beck talking about the play of Emily Hall, and that's the story. You got to find other scoring besides Sadie Spray, and she's done it for and she's increased her range. She already, I don't know if it increased her range. She could always do it, but now she's willing to pull the trigger out there, not in 3-point shots. I mean, she's like she's a 17-foot shooter.
Yes, inside the arc, just from anywhere. And so, I don't know if I think part of it that she's gotten a little more comfortable with some of those long range shots, but like you said, just being comfortable to turn around and immediately pull the trigger, knowing that it's probably going to go in at this point from that mid range.
Yeah, I only got to see him a couple times so far this year, but very strong defensively in that Hutch game too, and rebounding. So towards the half, she was trending. Probably wasn't going to happen, but at least a double-double, triple-double, but obviously slowed down in the second half. But what strikes me about Cindy's comments was, if we remember when Emily was in last year, the level of conditioning from basketball to swimming, because she'll be a state-caliber swimmer in the spring here, she said, no, it doesn't compare. So it's funny that she's working really hard on the basketball court, and she even says, to your point, that swimming is a different animal.
Swimming and wrestling, man, that's...
And to Emily's credit on that defensive end, we've talked a lot this year about the Panther press, and at the head of that, the Sadie Spray, Kenzie Premer, Jill Reimer dynamic. Having Paige Thexton and Emily Hall back low makes it really nice on the off chance they do get someone down there. Both of those girls have a lot of defensive versatility. They can switch on to different roles and really can slow up a fast break for the Panthers when they need to.
They're probably going to be 10-3 after tonight, aren't they? They play at TMP.
You don't want to count any chickens before they hatch or anything.
Sure,
like
you
that.
can. You're not the coach. You're not playing on the team. You're the announcer.
That's fair.
Come on, spit it out. What do you think?
I would be expecting the Great Bend Lady Panthers to be 10-3 after tonight. Just don't let Connor Nickel hear that too much. Don't want to sour any friendships we have there.
Get 28, Sadie.
28.
I saw TMP at Ellis, and I would say, Great Bend's athleticism, little tops.
Okay, Great Bend boys. This is 2 straight trips to Hayes. So it's a close enough game. You don't need to eat on the way home, especially if you're eating Casey's Pizza up there. So, I mean, that's not I was going to ask you where you're going to eat tonight and then Friday.
We might do something on Friday. It depends, but tonight, probably not.
Okay, all right.
Golden Q's just that's just too tempting.
It's cold enough. You get the JD's chicken chili. You can set it in the car. It won't spoil.
JD's Chicken, I lived up there for 14 years and never walked in that place. It was not one of the places that you...
It's become... I got taco shop right down the street, and I still go to JD's every time I'm in Hayes now. I will go to Hayes to cover a game just to eat there.
Go
to IHOP. No.
all these lovely local places in Hayes and just IHOP. It's standard.
So do you go to Verney's?
I haven't been there 23 years.
I never went to Verney's.
They have the
Everybody said it was good, but...
Chicken strips like the old Schwan Man's, like that's the only place I've ever had chicken strips like
Schwan headquarters is JD Chicken. I mean, come on.
That's why I get the chili.
All right, very good. Okay, other games in the WAC tonight. Goodland is at Garden City. Goodland beat Hayes.
I guess Goodland's no slouch.
No, they're not.
Well, they've got some pretty good athletes there in Goodland High School. They had it was supposed to be a better football team led by a really dynamic quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised Garden City's going to have to play on their A game. Wouldn't mind seeing the Buffaloes get knocked down.
Wichita Trinity's at Dodge City. The girls' schedule's a little bit different because the Dodge City girls, they're playing in the Newton Invitational, take on Shawnee Mission Northwest. So we're starting to head down the stretch right now for high school basketball in the WAC. So you only get, 8 games. So you don't want to drop too many. Hayes on the boys' side is 2-0. They're 6-5 overall. Garden City's 1-1. They're 4-5. Dodge is 1-0, 5-6. Great Bend 0-1, 8-4. Liberal 0-2, 4-8. On the girls' side, Hayes is 2-0. Great Bend 1-0. Big girl game coming up on Friday night. Liberal is 1-1 and 8-4 overall. Dodge 0-1, 3-6. Garden City 0-2, 5-4.
Kind of a tragedy they're getting rid of that gym, getting the new high school up there. So many classic games in that gym. The Hayes kids always bring it, and it's so small that they're right on top of everything.
But it doesn't have character. It's just a box.
The kids at it.
I'm excited to get to tonight's game. That TMP gym, it's a pretty fun spot. Do they have a fun nickname for that? I feel like there was a nickname for the TMP court back in the day, but I might be mistaken.
So just a field house? Don't they have a wall down there with glass that there's a guy, either he's the announcer or he's on the radio? Thought I saw a wall down there with some glass. There's a
dude, no, unless they changed it.
I've only been there a few times. But
I think Cole Rife, he'd tell you all about it. I think he was the voice of the Monarchs.
There's an old power crank you have to turn to get your computer on, so I usually don't go down there.
Back in my day, Pratt High was playing TMP. An old MSAA game. This is like my first or second year broadcasting. We're going back to like 83 or 84. And Pratt High and TMP, everybody hated everyone in the MSAA. So they went to overtime, but back in that, they didn't have the alternate possession rules. So Donnie Brown, of course, the father of the other Browns who played at KU and now won in the NBA, he was the center for TM. So 4 straight overtimes, they would flip the ball up in the air. Donnie Brown would control the tip. TMP would run the clock down, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, and go for one shot, and they'd miss it. And then they'd go back out, and they'd have a jump ball, and TMP would get it, and it'd go down. And Pratt ended up winning that game.
So what you're saying is they needed a shot clock.
They needed an alternate possession back in those days. Yeah, and a shot clock. Anyway, there you go, down memory lane at Al Bellinger Fieldhouse. Some other games tonight. Hoisington on the road at Phillipsburg. Mike Hesher. I just hated that trip after the winter jam. You spend a whole week over there, and then you turn around and have to go to Phillipsburg on a Tuesday night. Hesh will be there. Gene Manweiler, the call tonight on 100.7 Eagle Country. Buddy Tabler and Gary Wagner will be in Lions tonight. Talk about people that take advantage of the meal situation at Eagle Radio. they'll stop through here tonight and probably go.
Go to Perkins. It'll be a good time for the boys.
Probably Perkins, yeah. But we'll have that for you on Hits 106.9 tonight. Sterling at Central Plains tonight. Central Plains boys, just like their football team, much better than I thought they would be this year. They're having a solid season, but Sterling's really good, so that should be a heck of a matchup. That was always a classic girls matchup back in the day.
Yeah, and I didn't know that Joe Rowland wasn't coaching, so Kyla Comley stepped in, and Kylie was one of her great 4-year players, so now she's the head coach. So, yeah, the girls have fallen way off since their, back-to-back state titles, and then obviously Central Plains. So, yeah, probably actually favor Central Plains girls in that one.
Otis Bison's at Dighton tonight. La Crosse is at St. John, Ellenwood at Ness City, Ellis at Victoria, Chase at Natoma tonight, and Stafford plays at Fairfield. Herm Edwards asked, do the Ravens have a chance to beat the Chiefs?
There's a chance.
I think they
slim chance.
I'll give it more than a slim chance, but I'm not feeling.
Doesn't the matchup come down? Everything's always the quarterbacks: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. How about the defenses in this game? Who's going to be able to move the ball the best? Again, we're just staying on the theme of your girls, Corson. Caitlin Clark on what happened after the game with Ohio State.
Funny thing, I hadn't seen it yesterday. Literally, the first thing I see when I go downstairs yesterday was the clip. Who said it was a dive? There was contact.
I was saying,
that was a hard hit.
That was definitely, it was Masunas saying it was a dive, but that was a hard hit.
But no one was concerned about the girl that ran into her.
She ran off. It was a hit and run.
She looked over and at least showed concern.
Did she even know who she hit? You think it was intentional?
She probably didn't know who was even.
I don't know.
They went to the game, but she just went out there and went because everyone else was going.
I don't know if she know who she hit beforehand, but I think if you're at a game that Iowa is playing at, you probably know who Caitlin Clark is. Like I'm just from being at.
Well, that was
I feel like
Ohio
there's enough.
State though.
Just as a fanboy, I would oh, Caitlin, I'm so sorry. You need some help up? She just took off like she was nobody.
Well, Mikey, I don't know. You might run out there and run into her on purpose, so I'm not.
How can I get her attention?
Purdue coach Matt Painter, he had those comments after Nebraska fans stormed the court after they beat the #1 Boilermakers. They just get crazy up in Lincoln. So we'll just go back to the early days of basketball. That's why they called it the Cagers, because the court was surrounded by netting to keep the fans from the court.
One of the problems is back at this has always happened, but 30 years ago you storm the field because it's cool, it's fun, but what are you going to do? Nothing. Now you got your phone out, so you're going to be extra aggressive, so you can go show, hey, I hit Caitlin Clark. So you see people running straight to players and doing stuff like that. I don't think we've seen that necessarily in the past, which is more dangerous than the random stuff.
Well, all of a sudden it's a big hullabaloo about, because it involves Caitlin Clark, right?
Game changer. But they're offering no solutions. Like you said, you really can't stop that many people. They've tried many times.
Well, unless you put a ring of National Guard soldiers up there, because
that's
your front line of defense is college students getting a little bit extra paycheck with a yellow vest on, looking at their phone. You think they're going to put up too much resistance when the wave comes?
You can't take anything other than a clear plastic bag into these games. I think we should up the militarization of our college basketball games.
We're bringing in the National Guard. This is a big one tonight, boys.
We got the Sunflower Showdown and get them in from Fort Riley.
And, of course, the last cut was Peppa the Pig and Josh Allen. We went over that in the start. Okay, the man, we'll ask him about the field house, TMP. Call it Rife Court up there. Voice of the TMP Monarchs back in the day, Cole Rife, now voice of the Barton Cougars, going to join us next on Sports Day.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartoncc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Streit, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day brought to you in part by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Also by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. And X-Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. Okay, we'd like to bring in both sides of the story, and God only knows we go to Corson's favorite athletes and things like that, and he's always talking them up and everything. So I saw the Caitlin Clark collision. Jim Mizuna said that it was a flop.
On Caitlin or the other lady?
Caitlin.
Okay, yeah, I'm with Jim.
So Caitlin Clark flopped on that because you saw a different angle.
Yeah, if you look at the sideline view of it, it looks 50-50, and you're almost kind of like, oh, man, poor Caitlin. But if you look at the baseline view, like the upper baseline view of the shot, I don't know if it's a camera phone or what, but anyway, you can tell Caitlin saw her coming more than the lady saw Caitlin coming. And then the aftermath of the collision, like you can tell Caitlin's already in pre-spin mode before she even makes collision, and then she just flails her arms and her leg, and then she falls down the ground. I love Caitlin Clark, but that was a huge, huge flop.
Just because Cole is a talented play-by-play guy, don't let him deceive you.
Go on. The proof is in the video.
I haven't seen the video.
Okay, I'm going to go find it for you.
So if you were doing a play-by-play game of the fans storming the court and you were the Ohio State broadcaster, would you immediately gone to the flop?
Oh, yeah.
Like you would like a foul?
Well, it depends because if you're sitting courtside, and it depends on your angle. Because like when I watched it the first time, the sideline, I was like, gosh, that lady needs to watch where she's going. But then when I saw the baseline, I was like, well, Caitlin needs to watch where she's going.
Do we know if the baseline video is AI or anything?
Well, I haven't checked into those resources yet, but I feel pretty confident, yeah.
Okay, well, while you're in here, I mean, let's...
No, one other correction, because I always listen on Tuesdays to make sure, so I know when to come up from the online stream. Jabari Parker was a member of the Duke Blue Devils, but he was in the same class as Joel Embiid. I just want to make that...
Okay.
Okay.
Because I can hardly remember any... Yeah, the Jabari Parker, I said, well, I don't remember Jabari.
Yeah, I remember Jabari pretty well, but he was a one and done.
Yeah, but you got 1 and 3.
Yeah, I think Jabari was actually the number... Was Jabari the number 1 recruit that year? I can't remember that, but like he was up there. I remember that.
Did he come out after 1 year?
He did.
Okay, so was he the number 2?
He might have been because I remember him and Wiggins played, and that was the big hype because like they played one of those early Classic games, and I think Wiggins and KU won that game, but like Jabari had like a 25-point game or something like that. So I remember the hype of that game.
You know Cole's favorite play from college basketball history? When Jason Williams is dribbling at half court and looks over at Coach K and Steve Blake takes the ball from him.
Ooh,
they still beat Maryland. Miracle Minute. Just Miracle Minute. Look it up.
The Duke updates. I love them. Okay. There you go, Mike. I just had to get both sides of this.
We'll find that view.
Cole Reif coming up next.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
I had a young gal come in the other day who has been having chronic back pain. Did a session just helping her to understand her pain, not understanding her back, but teaching her how her nervous system works. And just that knowledge just calmed her down so much. She came back in this morning, huge smile on her face, and she was so excited to learn more. It was a blast.
Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Rife, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Also in part by Venture Corporation, remind you to help a neighbor, shop local when you can. Also by Equity Bank, your hometown sports partner. Visit one of their 5 local area banks in Great Bend, Larned, Maxville, and St. John, equitybank.com. Thanks for sticking around here a little bit.
Yeah, you bet. Good. I mean, anytime we can get mentioned Jabari Parker in a show and Caitlin Clark flopping, like I'm all for it.
All right, you're on the downward slide now in the Jayhawk Conference right now. It's fun. I don't know. I may have mentioned this last week. I like the Wednesday, Saturday because it's easy to follow the standings for one. Now they had a Sunday game last week. Cowley rolling over Butler, but here we go. Barton 11-1, Cowley 11-1, 17-1, 16-2. Barton ranked 3rd in the country. Cowley 12th this week. Hutchinson's 10-2 after they lost at home to the Cougars by 22. They're ranked 19th. Butler 9-3 after that loss. They're ranked 21st. I don't know. Do you think they've included those games? That Sunday game?
I think, for Butler, now they got wally-whopped, but at the same time, I mean, losing to Cali on the road, who, is still sitting on top of the conference, tied now, but so losing on the road to a nationally ranked team like that, I think that was kind of in consideration where, Butler's not going to drop a whole lot, and that's probably right. I don't know. I feel like the polls are better. Like over the last couple of years, I think there's more recognition. Okay, who you played, was it on the road, how did you perform? I think some of those considerations are starting to go into a little bit more. I mean, you don't have to look much further than just even the women's poll, and that wasn't always the case because look at Barton. Now they lost to Hutchinson. They went 1-1 last week, and they're still receiving votes. And remember the poll before that. They were the last team in that receiving votes. There's like 3 teams, right? And Barton was the last one. They go 1-1. Usually you lose one game in that week, you're probably going to drop a spot. So I was fully expecting Barton not to be receiving votes. For what it's worth, I don't know. And they were still receiving votes. So I think, losing at Hutchinson, I think someone's been paying attention that, Barton had Hutch on the ropes, had their chances.
Knowing how the games go, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm not, Hutchinson deserved that win, but I think someone was paying attention, hey, Barton played really well on the road against the now number 4 team in the country. Let's keep them in receiving votes. This is still a quality team. Had their chance against Dodge, had their chance against Butler. Let's go ahead and keep them as one of the teams. So, yeah, I think those polls are starting to come around. I wish it was the same committee group, though. My only gripe of, who's doing the polls and then who's doing the selection committee for the national tournament for the 8 at-large bids on both women's. They're different. So, that to me – we found out over the years, especially when the Barton men made in 2018, that it doesn't matter what the poll says, that different committees looking at, a different form of statistics and a different form of judgment because they leapfrogged a lot of teams that were ranked ahead of them in the poll that year. And then they've done that multiple times on the women's side too. So I just wish there was a little bit closer similarity. Now, when push comes to shove, and you're going to say, hey, we're going to take this team that's 2, spots below, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. But when you're judging teams by the poll and then, the number 7 team in the country, say, doesn't get into the national tournament and the team that was unranked gets in, let's just make it similar so that way there's no confusion, there's no huge animosity towards, the selection process. Or we could expand it and bust it out to maybe 32 teams or something like that. But no, I think 24 is a good number, but I wouldn't mind an expansion. Don't give any buys. Just let because right now there's buys. That top few teams get buys. Take those away. Put some more teams in. make them play a first-round game.
Yeah, they've got to come down there anyway, so
Mhm.
make them work for it. I started doing junior college games as the voice of the Pratt Beavers, and it was one Pratt would play at home against Hutchinson, and they'd have like a 12-point lead, and Hutch would always find a way to, and Jerry Kershaw would, and the Hutch Blue Dragons have just rolled up their 17th straight win here in Pratt at the Beaver Dome. And then they go to Hutch, and then and then I started to wonder, gosh, will I ever walk out of the sports arena with a win? And then I came to Barton a couple of years, and one time, Norvet Jacks hit a big shot late. Barton wins on the road at Hutch. I topped the mountain, right?
Right.
Finally slayed the giant. And then I think Fletch and the Cougars won once when I came back. But you have watched 2 butt whoopings in a row. That's got to feel great.
Yeah.
You go into Hutch and just win by 20 plus.
Sure. I mean, I think, if you want to call it the Mecca of college basketball, and they get a right to that name because, I mean, that's the home of the national tournament for, 60, 70 years, and it'll be there for another couple decades. So, I mean, I think, just winning in that type of gym is a lot of fun, but it's a credit to what Hutchinson's done. I mean, give them credit. I mean, they continue to have successful teams both on the women's and the men's side. So anytime you go in there, not only is it a cool venue to get a win, but you're usually taking on a really, really talented team that's well coached. So to be able to do that says a lot. And for Barton, to be up by 19 points at halftime, lead by as many as 27 in the second half, it just doesn't happen. Because then, I mean, I watched some clips from the Hutchinson played Garden City the next weekend, or this past weekend. I thought that was going to be a good game. Hutchinson rolled through Garden City, and I thought Garden was pretty good. So, to know that you did that to Hutch on their plays, that says a lot. Now, will they shoot as bad as they did, on their home floor when they come to Great Bend in late February? Maybe not. But at the same time, Barton's defense is so good. I mean, we can give credit. Leger Jones is great offensively. Whoever you want to, hype up. Miles Thompson's been so consistent offensively, but their defense, night in and night out, has been sensational. The only exception is their lone loss, to Cali. I mean, there was some miscues there, but a lot of credit goes to Cali. But what they do defensively, just locking in, sometimes simple man-to-man concepts, but man, it's just so good. I mean, that's what's getting them a lot of games. That's what's making them so consistent this year. Is that defense stays the same. Even when the offense goes on a little bit of dry spout, it doesn't really hinder them too much because their defense just keeps them right there. Then the offense comes along, they get an electric play, and then they're off. So, yeah, it's been one of the more consistent teams that I've seen.
And when you talk about you've got returning players, you always think, well, we're going to be really good offensively, but I think that carries more of the defense.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean,
especially when you bring back the defensive player of the year, Cooper Jackson, Mose Downing Rivers. I think early on this season, I was just kind of like, what's going on with Mose? He's not scoring, and his percentages are down, his free throw and his 3-point. He doesn't take a ton of threes, but he's just fully taken on a different role. I mean, he's fully taken on a different role where he does not have to be that guy. And this is a guy that's going to go play Division I basketball next year. So, he's just fully taken on that role. And then what he doesn't get credit for, I don't think, is his defense is really good. I mean, he's 6'6", and he's guarding out on the point. Like, you try to get around a 6'6" guy that's locked in like Mose. Like, that kid is uberly talented. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch him cook out there.
I sent Jeremy Combs a text because you've got to make the trip to Independence. So I was just looking on the website, I was updating the standings, and I saw that Independence and Coffeyville played, it was 0-0, right? It had been updated. And I thought Independence had just folded. I mean, because it's been a rough year, right?
Yeah.
At Independence, but no, they're playing, but you got to go all the way to Independence, but if there's ever a laydown game in the conference, this probably would be it, wouldn't it?
You look at Indy, and I don't want to be the guy that's trying to hype up a 1-17 team. I get it, from the outside, this team's, just purely on record, they're not good, right? 1-17 is not a good record. I get it. But, man, you look at some of their games they lost. Seward County by 2. Northwest Tech, they lost by 1. They played Cali. Nationally ranked Cali within 5 points.
Okay, that'd get my
Pratt,
attention.
they lost by 4. Colby, they lost by 5. So they've been in games, But you look at what they give up defensively. I mean, they're giving up a ton of points. I mean, 86 points per game. That's dead last in the Jayhawk Conference. It's near the bottom in the nation. So, yeah, I mean, defensively it hasn't been there for them. But, yeah, you look at, what comes in. Barton just fresh off moving up 3 spots, number 3. Yeah. They're coming into your place. And I don't like to complain about road trips because we're in the middle. Like, there's a lot of teams on the outskirts that have far worse road trips than we do.
Coffeyville to Liberal?
Yeah, exactly. Or Goodland to Coffeyville, yeah. So, but still, it's still the second longest road trip of the season in conference for Barton, outside of Coffeyville going down to Indy. So, yeah, you get off the bus, you roll out, and then you go to the field house. It's just it's not an overly glamorous facility by any means. So you get in there. I mean, there's a lot of things on the board that say, like, okay, hey, watch out. So, like, I don't know. I think it'll be a fun matchup, just, based on what Indy's facing right there this year and then what they get coming in. But this has been one of those games that Barton has proven so far in the season that, hey, we come in, we take care of business. So hopefully they do the same tomorrow night.
Was the Coffeyville trip, or was it the Coffeyville or Independence when the rat was stuck through the front of the grill on the... And I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
I can't remember where it was. I think it was Coffeyville.
Okay.
A rat fell out of the sky. I was driving back, and I told Ron Mason this in the Marmy's car. Like, it fell out, and I heard the thump. But I thought it was a bird that dashed into the... And so I didn't recognize it until...
But it's dark outside.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think we came back at a decent time. I don't know if it was an afternoon game.
A hawk dropped a rat.
But I thought it was a bird that hit. I was like, okay, that's fine. It probably ricocheted off or whatever. And then I get back, and then Ron's like, what happened? I'm like, what are you talking? Because I didn't stop. Like, I filled up before we left, and I didn't stop the whole way back. Rode it into the Marcus parking lot. And Ron's like, what happened? I was like, what are you talking about? Come here. I was like, okay. Come around to the front. And there's a rat tail sticking out of the dash. I'm like, what? And it was a monster. Like, this thing was a full size, like, pinned up the. Oh man, yeah, it was big.
Okay.
So we will try. I'm going to take the bus, so I don't think there's going to be any issues.
Okay, well that's good. Have the termites finally eaten through that press box at Independence?
Did I tell you we flipped sides last year? First year I ever been on the other side, because usually you had that bird's nest up,
with the one that the termites were in.
Yeah, exactly. That didn't fit my legal size sheets, and so they'd always have to roll over. They flipped me to the other side last year. Apparently they did it with a few other broadcasters in the past too, but it was the first time that I was ever invited that side, because I think they got rid of their home radio. So I don't think they do the games anymore on their station, so they had an open spot over there. It's like, you want to come over? It's like, heck yeah.
So what was it like over there?
Oh, it was glorious. I had so much space over there. There was one other person that was running, I think, the stats or maybe some of the video monitors, but there's just one person over there. And then, like, that was like 8 feet away from me. I had all the room, great spot to camp out my crowd mic, to bend it over. Like, oh, it was. I felt so good.
Well, that makes you feel better. At least you don't got to worry about,
The stairs going up were a little less rickety. Like, they were upgrades all over the place last year. So hopefully it's the same this year.
Yeah, Independence used to be a national power. Real quick on the ladies right now, watching the Jayhawk Conference standings. Hutch, 12-0, still unbeaten. Barton gave him a heck of a game last Wednesday. Dodge 10-2, Butler 9-3, and then you have Barton at 8-4. Coffeyville. I mean, that would be one to get your attendance. I mean, they got beat by Independence 70-43.
How about Cali knocking off Butler?
Yes.
Sunday afternoon.
Again, we're wondering what's going on with Butler. Looking like he might have bounced back a little bit, but a couple teams, it's such a long season. You never know. Someone gets thrown off, or I don't know.
Coffeyville, that was a team that, for me, I wasn't, they're a great outside shooting team. Mm-hmm. But if you can take that away, you're sitting okay. Offensively, they don't have a ton after that. I'm not trying to throw daggers or anything, but like they struggled with that. And then who's the other one you're talking about? Oh, Butler.
Butler's
the same way. Like, their offense isn't as good as like Hutchinson's and Dodge's, I feel like. But what they do so well is defensively. But they can have a lot of potentially ugly games, but they've been coming out typically on the right side of. And right now, some teams are finally catching them in some of those ugly games.
That would be the trap game. It's not the men's game. The women's game.
Oh, Indy's playing well.
Starting to climb up.
Yeah, they've won 3 of their last 4 games. Yeah. They've knocked off Coffeyville on the road. They've knocked off Butler on the road. Like, Indy women.
Yeah, that'll be a big one. Okay.
Well, enjoy. And the Barton women, they've won 4 straight in the series. They've never won 5 straight in the all-time series with Indy, and they haven't won back-to-back games at the Fieldhouse since the mid to late 1980s.
Is that what they call it now? The Fieldhouse?
The ICC Fieldhouse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's a long ways down there. Yeah. Well, how does Brock Kappelman even?
He's a saint. Truly is a saint. Get it?
How?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot. And he does high school too.
No.
Like he was in Salina one day doing a high school game, and then he's back in Liberal. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. Okay, boys, we're going. How long does it take from Coffeyville to Goodland?
I think it's close to 7 hours. God, is my guess. Yeah, that's an overnight stay for the Red Ravens and the Mavs.
My word. Okay. Hey, Cole, thanks.
You bet.
Cole Reif, voice of the Barton Cougars. I'll have the call for you tomorrow night as Barton plays at Independence. On the Prowl, Mike Corson up next.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you unhappy with your current wireless provider? Well, what are you waiting for? Make the switch to Nextech Wireless. Not only will you get great service and the latest devices, but when you bring your number to us, you pay nothing down. That's right. The taxes and activation fee are on us.
Certain restrictions apply.
Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmy's, make it happen.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today, Tuesday chat. That means Great Bend High School Wrestling with Coach Gannon Reichert. Coach, kind of a head scratcher for me. I looked at the rankings this week. You guys had an awesome weekend last week. Go from number 2 to 6 without losing. How rare is that?
I was kind of confused by that, too. I think it was because we just didn't go where as tough a competition was, and some other people kind of shuffled around, but I don't think to take too much away from that, dropping in the rankings from that week.
Absolutely, do it when it matters. But you guys did go to a pretty tough tournament, the Bob Kuhn Prairie Classic in Hayes, a 2-day deal, usually kind of one of the highlight tournaments of the year. It was your first one. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was a great tournament. The boys we brought all competed great. Unfortunately, we were down 5 of our varsity wrestlers due to illnesses that just we can't seem to shake. But, yeah.
Yeah, and you had top-ranked Manhattan there, the best team in 6A, that they won it. And I think, what was it, like top 12 teams had at least 10 guys, and Great Bend was the only team with 9 and still get 6th place. Feel pretty good about that finish, given what you did take?
Yeah, I think that, like I said, the boys we brought all performed great, and I know we would have been top 3 had we had our full squad there, so I'm pretty happy with our finish there.
Did have one winner, Jay Schartz, at 157, so another day where he doesn't necessarily get the pins, but still wrestling very well.
Yeah, Jace had a great day at that, or great 2 days at that tournament, just wrestled awesome, and that's kind of what I like to see.
And Matthew Johnson was able to return. Obviously, he had the stitches in his eye. How's that working out for him?
He's pretty well healed up. We didn't have any problems with it at the tournament, and it's just he's going to have a little beauty mark from now on, I guess.
We had talked about junior Brody Schnoblin, so he climbs into the rankings at number 6 at 285, goes third place in Hayes. How about what he's been doing lately?
Yeah, I mean, he's starting to get that heavyweight class down more and more. Like I said, he's a bit underweight for a heavyweight, but he's starting to utilize his speed a little bit more and kind of just get his bearings around how to wrestle with that.
And looking down the list here, 5th-ranked Tristan Tomlinson continues to do well, goes 4th at 120. Michael Montoya, still not in the rankings and might not make it in there, but 4th place finish at 165. So even the kids that maybe aren't your marquee kids are still picking up a lot of points for you.
Oh, yeah, both of them kids are great wrestlers, and, I mean, I expect them to have a great end of the season. Where that'll finish, I'm not quite exactly, but I expect to see something out of them by the end of the year.
Well, we didn't get to talk yesterday, so we'll kind of combine boys and girls today. So girls also had a pretty good weekend in Wichita. And once again, seems like you run into Dodge City, number 1 team in 6-5A, so they win down at Heights. But Great Bend, another pretty strong team performance.
Yeah, great finish by them. Unfortunately, I can't be in 2 places at once, so I didn't get to see all the girls wrestle. But, yeah, they performed awesome for what I've seen in the results, and, yeah.
And we're talking with Panther Wrestling coach Gannon Reichert. Obviously, it's always a big milestone to get to 100 wins. That's about an average of 25 a year over 4 years. Daisy Gomez, still a few weeks left in her career, and she is, up to 111 now?
Yeah.
So
that's pretty awesome of her collecting all those wins, and, I mean, we'll see where she finishes the season at.
And so she's number 2 in her bracket at 130, and Kaylee McMullen, the sophomore, is ranked number 3rd at 125. 2 winners there, and even though you didn't get to see them, always nice to have at least 1 or 2 girls come out of a tournament as champions.
Oh, yeah, both of them girls are kind of, the top performers on the team so far, and some great leadership, especially in our senior Daisy, and it's where you just kind of want to see them at.
And then we've talked about Camden Post, the freshman's ranked number 6 at 105. Really tough draw there. I don't know if you got to see any on tape or anything, but the girl from Derby's, she's ranked number 3, but I think she's a 2-time state champion. I believe Camden was pretty competitive against her.
Yeah, Camden, like I keep telling her, she's just a great wrestler. She hasn't quite had the mat time with those other top performer wrestlers, but each time she does it, I can tell she's getting better and keeps learning.
And another one we've talked about several times, but it was a good story this weekend. Kiara Stevens, 3rd place at 170 pounds. But the big story there was she gets pinned by a girl that's ranked number 6 early on, comes back and beats that girl from Capon in the 3rd place match.
Yeah, Kiara's a tough girl, and she's competitive. She's not going to let, any kind of rankings or somebody's record, or if they've been beaten by her once or whatever, get to her.
And one more to talk about on the girls' side. Sophomore Braylon Turner goes 3rd place at 120. That's a kid that I've seen her wrestle well, but I've also seen her go on the backside. So how pleased to get that 3rd place?
Yeah, Braylon, you see a lot of good things. We just need to work on the consistency with those good things with her. But, yeah, she's really throwing out too. And
where are the Panther squads headed this week?
This week we are all over the place. We had some JV wrestling, boys and girls, in Ellenwood on Monday, Garden City duel on Tuesday, where that rescheduled Hayes duel will be on Wednesday. And then we got our boys traveling to Garden City tournament on Friday, Saturday, and our girls varsity going to Washburn on Saturday, and our JV boys and girls going to Larned on Saturday.
Impressive you were able to rattle all that off. Panther Wrestling coach Gannon Reichert, thanks for joining us, and good luck.
Yep, thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just 1 semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartonccc.edu.
Extend the life of your equipment with the best warranty program and risk management tool in the agriculture industry. The Cenex Total Protection Plan covers new and used equipment. Receive up to 10 years or 10,000 hours of engine coverage when you use Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster Premium Diesel Fuel and synthetic lubricants. With no deductible, the Cenex Total Protection Plan provides unmatched coverage to give you the power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day today brought to you in part by Equity Bank, your hometown sports partner, Venture Corporation. Remind you to help a neighbor, shop local when you can, and Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Legislators in Jackson County voted Monday to override the veto of Jackson County Executive Frank White, place a renewal of a sales tax on the April ballot to help fund a new ballpark for the Royals. The tax of 3/8 of a cent will be used under the current lease agreement for the stadium, upkeep at Truman Sports Complex. A renewal would not only help pay for the replacement for Kauffman Stadium, but also future renovations to Arrowhead. As recently as last week, it appeared there weren't enough votes to override White's veto. That changed when 2 legislators flipped their decisions amid an outpouring of public pressure and continued negotiations with the 2 teams. I always thought that Frank White was just a guy that was named Frank White. But that is the Frank White, who kind of always had a burr in his saddle after the Royals because he was the manager of the Wichita Wranglers for about 3 years, and including 2006 when I did the Wranglers, and you get to talk to Frank, and you could tell that after I do this, I better get this. But he became an executive. Good for Frank. I have no idea what's going on in Kansas City with this thing. Does this mean they're just going to tear Kauffman Stadium down and build another Royal Stadium out at that same site, or are they still looking at different alternatives, or what?
I have no idea. I figured by this point we would kind of be talking about like, oh, look at these preliminary designs for the stadium at the new location after they'd set the deadline for, it feels like they'd said they were going to have a location picked by October 1st at one point was the deadline, and they've just moved that back. Now it feels like there's even less of a direction of where the new Royal Stadium is going to be than half or 6 months ago. It's kind of a messy situation there in Kansas City.
That's the way they kind of went. I mean, Foxborough, Massachusetts is out. It's horrible. There's like one road to get there. And I think the Royals, though, have set themselves up because fans love going to Kauffman, right? There's on the interstate, there's, plenty of parking, even though it costs $7,000 to park there now. But it's an easy in, easy out. Obviously there's a lot of traffic, but a downtown stadium just revitalizes your downtown. Look at Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita. That place, the downtown was horrible. But fans aren't behind it because they like the experience of just driving to Arrowhead. And so that's when it would do so much more to the downtown. But do you want to go downtown and get it and then have to park in a parking garage? And, going to a downtown ballpark, it's a nightmare.
It is kind of special going to a Royals game and seeing Arrowhead there to the side. It is kind of nice having the little dichotomy of the Royals and Chiefs in the same parking lot.
Okay, have fun tonight in Hayes. Take care of business, and then you get to go up there Friday night. Those are going to be 2 huge games, but got to take care of business first.
Business
Coach
trip
speak. No, you're going to roll tonight. It's
going to be a great time. Panthers going to roll.
2 routes. Talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.